In the dead of night, under the faint glow of a flickering street lamp on Newcomb Street, the killer crouches in the shadows, his breath slow and controlled, like a predator sizing up its prey. He watches as a man, unaware, unsuspecting, steps out from a nearby doorway, his phone glowing in his hand, casting a pale light on his face. The air is thick with the distant hum of the city, but here, in this forgotten corner of southeast Washington, everything feels isolated, vulnerable. The Thea's mind races with a cold certainty. This is the moment to strike, to settle the score that has festered for months. One pull of the trigger, and the night erupts in chaos. But why this man? Why now? The answer lies buried in a web of betrayal, hidden lives, and a community teetering on the edge of fear. It was May 3, 2025, just after midnight, when the shots rang out in the 500 block of Newcomb Street, southeast DC, a neighborhood where row houses stand shoulder to shoulder, their faded facades bearing the scars of decades of urban struggle. Alex Alexander, a 31-year-old from the quieter suburbs of Gaithersburg, Maryland, lay dying on the pavement, his life ebbing away from multiple gunshot wounds. He wasn't a stranger to the city. Alex had ties here, connections that pulled him into the heart of Anacostia, a community rich in history but plagued by the relentless grip of poverty and violence. This wasn't just another statistic in DC's ongoing battle with gun crime. It was a targeted hit, one that would unravel a story of trust betrayed, and a suspect who hid in plain sight. Southeast DC in 2025 was a place of contrasts, where resilient families fought to carve out normalcy amid the echoes of sirens and the weight of generational trauma. Newcomb Street, nestled in the 7th District, was typical of the area: modest homes lined with chain-link fences, kids playing on sidewalks during the day, but at night, a palpable tension hung in the air. Residents like Maria Gonzalez, a longtime local and community activist, embodied the spirit of endurance. Maria, in her mid-50s, had seen too many young lives cut short. She organized vigils and pushed for more police presence, her voice a beacon for those weary of the cycle. "We live here because it's home," she'd say, but every gunshot reminds us how fragile that home is. Alex's death sent ripples through this tight-knit world. Neighbors who heard the shots peered from behind curtains, whispering about who might be next. For Alex's family, the pain was immediate and shattering. His mother, Elena Alexander, a nurse who had raised him single-handedly after his father's early death, received the call that no parent should ever get. "He was my everything," she later shared in interviews, her eyes hollow with grief. Alex was the ambitious one, working in IT, dreaming of starting his own business, always sending money home. But beneath that exterior lay secrets: occasional trips to DC for deals that skirted the law, entanglements that would prove fatal. At the center of this tragedy stood Jamal Thompson, the prime suspect, a 28-year-old local who projected the image of a reformed hustler turned entrepreneur. To the world, Jamal was the charming guy next door, running a small auto detailing shop in the neighborhood, flashing smiles at community events, even mentoring kids through a local program. But peel back the layers, and a darker persona emerged: a man with a history of petty crimes, simmering resentments, and a volatile temper fueled by a sense of entitlement. Psychologists would later speculate that Jamal's actions stemmed from a deep-seated need for control, perhaps rooted in a chaotic childhood marked by abandonment and street life. What drove him to kill? Revenge, pure and simple. A botched drug deal, where Alex allegedly shorted him on a transaction worth thousands. Jamal didn't just shoot, he planned, luring Alex to Newcomb Street, under the guise of a late-night meetup to square things. His method was calculated: no witnesses in sight, a silenced pistol to muffle the blasts, and a quick escape into the labyrinth of alleyways he knew like the back of his hand. It was a tactic honed from years on the fringes, avoiding detection by ditching phones and using burner accounts. But even the most careful predators slip. The investigation began in the pre-dawn hours, as Metropolitan Police Department officers from the 7th District cordoned off the scene, yellow tape fluttering in the breeze like a grim warning. Detective Sarah Klein, a seasoned homicide investigator with over 15 years on the force, took the lead. Klein, known for her dogged persistence, arrived as forensics teams combed the asphalt for shell casing. The initial canvas turned up little. Neighbors were reluctant, fear of retaliation thick in the air. But a breakthrough came early. Surveillance footage from a nearby home camera captured a shadowy figure, matching Jamal's build, fleeing the area. Questions swirled. Why was Alex, a Maryland resident, in this part of town at such an hour? Phone records revealed texts between him and Jamal, cryptic messages about meeting to fix it. As Klein dug deeper, the maze twisted, dead ends with uncooperative associates, alibis that crumbled under scrutiny. The pressure mounted. DC's homicide rate was already drawing national attention, and this case highlighted the city's struggles with unsolved shooting. Weaving through the human toll, Elena Alexander became the face of the fight for justice. She didn't just grieve, she rallied, holding press conferences outside the MPD headquarters, demanding answers. "My son wasn't perfect," she'd admit, "but he deserved better than to die alone on that." The community echoed her pain. Vigils lit up Newcomb Street, candles flickering, as Maria Gonzalez led chants for peace. Yet beneath the unity, suspicion brewed. Was Jamal acting alone, or part of a larger network? His psychology intrigued experts, a mix of narcissistic rage and opportunistic predation, where killing satisfied a twisted sense of justice. He gained trust easily, using his shop as a front to launder dealings, avoiding detection by blending into the everyday fabric of the neighborhood. But his downfall was hubris. He kept the weapon, hidden poorly in his apartment, ballistics linking it definitively to the crime scene. As the investigation intensified, Klein's team executed a search warrant on Jamal's home in mid-June, uncovering not just the gun, but journals hinting at his obsessions. The arrest came swiftly on June 15, 2025. Jamal cuffed in his shop amid stunned customers. But this resolution raised more questions. Why did Alex get involved in such risky ventures? Was there a deeper motive, perhaps tied to larger drug rings plaguing Southeast? The trial, unfolding in the fall, was a spectacle. Prosecutors painted Jamal as a cold calculator, while defense argued provocation, claiming Alex's betrayal justified self-defense. Witnesses faltered, memories blurred by time and intimidation. The climax arrived in the courtroom, where Jamal's failed alibi, a fabricated story of being at a bar miles away, collapsed under cross-examination. Video timestamps didn't match, and a key witness, a former associate, flipped, detailing Jamal's threat. The verdict came on October 10, 2025. Guilty of first-degree murder, sentenced to life without parole. Elena wept as the gavel fell, a momentary catharsis amid the ruins. But closure, that's an illusion in cases like this. In the aftermath, doubts linger like shadows on Newcomb Street. Was the investigation thorough enough, or did pressure for a quick solve overlook accomplices? Alternative theories persist, whispers of a hit ordered by higher-ups in the drug trade, or even mistaken identity in the dark. Jamal maintains his innocence from behind bars, claiming a set. For the community, the scar remains. Maria Gonzalez continues her activism, but the fear hasn't faded. Elena, forever changed, questions the why that no trial can answer. Why her son? Why that night? The full truth, it seems, slips through the cracks, haunting those left behind. As the city moves on, one can't help but reflect on how fragile our illusions of safety are, how a single act of violence echoes through lives and generations, leaving questions that may never find light. If you found this story haunting, don't stop here. Watch our next case, where another hidden truth finally comes to light.